What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and in today's video, we're going to talk about three major concerns for the Giants heading into the 2024 season. We did a video of around this last year where we spoke about injuries, rookie cornerbacks, and punter as a cause of concern. I did give a bonus on the offensive line as well. If I could go back in time, I obviously would have put the offensive line as number one. But again, we didn't foresee Andrew Thomas going down week one, missing the majority of the season. Evan Neal just continually sucking and regressing, and some other things as well. Also, we're going into year 3 of this channel, so thank you guys for sticking with us throughout this journey so far. It's been fun. I'm still learning, making mistakes. I actually just recorded this video, spent 20 minutes doing it, and then I realized that the sound was messed up. So, we're still always working through the cobwebs a little bit here. But having said that, let's dive into reason number 1 for my cause of concern heading into the 2024 season for the Giants. Reason number 1 is going to be the Giants quarterback room. Specifically, let's get started with Daniel Jones coming off of an ACL injury that he suffered last season. What are our expectations for him? He's in year 2 of his 4-year, $160 million contract, which the Giants were significantly made fun of and ridiculed for. How could you possibly give Daniel Jones this money? Blah, blah, blah. Joe Shane's an idiot. When he did have that good season, he had that great road game versus the Vikings, and they eventually got smoked by the Eagles. And then last year was a complete regression for everyone across the board. So what are our expectations for Daniel Jones coming into the season off an ACL injury, while also losing Saquon Barkley, who is the only playmaking explosive player in that offense? So where are they going to backfill for that? We'll touch on that later on in the video. But to get started with Daniel Jones, what should our expectations be for him? What would be a measure of success for Daniel Jones this year? Is it, because I personally think regardless of what happens this year, this is Daniel Jones's last season as a Giant. They'll figure out a way to manipulate the 2 years remaining in his contract after this, but it's not, fully guaranteed or anything like that. So the Giants can opt out after that. But what is the ceiling for guys coming off ACL injuries and coming back and being successful? It's tough, especially when a lot of Daniel Jones's game has been trying to manipulate defenses to run. And if that is also lost from him, that is going to be tough. And then again, in the preseason, when we did see some live action versus the Texans, it didn't look very good. Tons of, what we had seen for a lot of Daniel Jones's career thus far, a lot of bad reads, a lot of, hey, we're running a 5-yard curl and the cornerback standing right in between us and the wide receiver, and I'm going to throw it anyway and hope it's not a pick six. I was hoping to see that be improved a little upon, but again, it's live ball, it's live rounds, and he needs more reps. So we're going to see what Daniel Jones has, but if he doesn't have it, if he's getting his ass kicked, if he eventually gets hurt again, because he's been hurt a far majority of his career thus far, will Brian Dable go to the well with Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito earlier than expected? If, say, the Giants start 1-4 or 1-5 and Jones looks bad, are they just going to play him so they could say, hey, we took an L on this contract. We're going to make sure that everyone can see that we can't play this guy anymore, and we're going to just burn the rest of the contract, light it on fire? Or will they go to the well with Drew Lock, who was okay last year, whatever? I think he was on the Seahawks and backed up Geno for a little bit and got in some time as well when Geno got hurt. But then we are well familiar with Tommy DeVito after his rise to prominence last season. But again, I don't think either of those two guys or any quarterback on this team right now is a really someone that could bring us to the promised land in the future of where we want to be and could be our franchise guy. So with that, having a very question mark quarterback room, that's my first major cause of concern going into the 2024 season. Reason number 2, which is a pretty big cause of concern, probably could be number 1, is, and we did see throughout Hard Knocks that Giants did a good job of saying we need to address the offensive line first and foremost. They did the best that they could possibly do in getting guys that are available via free agency, probably overpaying a little bit based on their experience, but getting into the wells of trying to get those deals done did leave a gap somewhere else on the defensive side of the ball. And for that, I'm speaking of cornerbacks. The lack of talent and depth at the cornerback position is my second major cause of concern for this season, especially in a very pass happy league at this point in time. Going into the season right now, we have second year Deonte Banks slated to start at cornerback, who was, I'll say he was okay. I'll give him like a C plus maybe last year. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't getting burned all the time. He wasn't, getting flagged for PIs. I don't think he was really great either. But again, it's a learning experience when you're coming from Maryland to the NFL and the Giants. It's just going to take time, reps, and hopefully he could just stay healthy. I think there were some injury concerns, so I would like to see him get a full season in this year if possible. And because the Giants didn't address any of these issues at cornerback outside of Deonte Banks, maybe they thought guys like Trey Hawkins or Cordell Flott would be able to step up and be more serviceable than, or just given more of a premium role in this defense to, here's an NFL ability. The job is up for the taking. Can anyone take it? And what it seems to be that has transpired throughout this offseason and preseason was no one was able to win that job or to breed any sense of comfort within the coaching staff to say like, yeah, we're good to rock with these guys. Because what happened this week was that they brought in Adoree Jackson and the Giants re-signed him. So Adoree Jackson's coming back. He will be starting in corner, and they're going to need him for sure. Obviously he's had up and downs throughout his entire career, but that adds to a sense of familiarity within this Giants secondary room and the cornerback specifically that do have a lot of young guys and could use someone like a vet like that who's been around for quite some time. So kudos for them for putting maybe like a minor Band-Aid on this situation. That Band-Aid could, you might pull that Band-Aid off and it could be like a 10-inch gash and you're going to have to get emergency plastic surgery on, but time will tell. Again, I am pretty nervous about this because no one else stepped up when the opportunity was there for guys like Hawkins and Drew Phillips. We'll see what he could do, but I don't think anyone generally gave a sense of confidence is the word I'm looking for. And again, this group, I'd probably say right now they're like a C- overall going into this season, which is my second biggest concern is the lack of talent. And hopefully they can at least play because let's just say guys get hurt. Deonte Banks and Adoree Jackson go down, which, has happened a bunch of times in their career so far. Where do you go from there? Then you're really scraping off the practice pile heap of trying to get bodies of guys that can play. And as we know in the NFL, it's a passing league. And week one, you're going to see that with Justin Jefferson on the Vikings. So that is a major concern for me already. We'll do a preview breakdown later this week, but I'd probably start looking at some Justin Jefferson props regardless of who's throwing him the ball at this point. My third major concern heading into the season is after losing a playmaker like Saquon Barkley in the offseason to the Eagles, who will step up in this offense and be a playmaker. Now, granted, the Giants did draft Malik Neighbors in the first round, but very untested NFL talent right now. Upside is 100% there, and we're going to need him to be successful. But when you look at backfilling also in the running back position, a lot of our offense went through Saquon. He was the only one who could strike fear in the hearts and minds of opposing defenses and D coordinators and give them fits. But a lot of teams figured out a way to stop them. And especially when he was hurt, the Giants couldn't do much. So losing Saquon as the number one playmaking option. Hey, Darren Waller was there for however many games he played for the Giants. He was something else other teams had to worry about. Now he's gone. Saquon's gone. Who can step up in this offense to try and make plays to help Daniel Jones coming off of an ACL injured season? Let's look. Singletary. He's been a okay NFL vet so far. Like, is he going to wow us? Maybe. Is Devin Singletary going to turn into even 70% of what Saquon was for us historically? I don't know. But then also with Singletary, you have Eric Gray, who's in his second year, he looked good in the preseason, but also last year he didn't do anything for us. And then Tyron Tracy, who rolled his ankle and was pretty banged up this preseason. So those are your three options at the running back position that will be able to hopefully be okay. But I don't think I would like to see them kind of go away from just one guy. Devin Singletary is going to be the guy. No, let's get a rotation there, figure out if there's a hot hand and play that hot hand while allowing legs to stay fresh. Then we get to the wide receiver position. I already spoke about Malik Neighbors and his untapped potential there. And then you look at Wan'Dale Robinson, who 2 years ago at the end of the season tore his ACL, came back last year. It took a while to get started, get his legs underneath him, get that confidence back. But I did think he looked good the second half of last season. They would feed him the ball a lot and try to find creative ways to get him involved in the offense. Slot receiver, he's going in motion, he's doing screens, he's doing reverses. So maybe they'll find a way to use him again. And then you have two guys that can stretch the field by going vertical. Darius Slayton, who's, been probably Jones's most consistent option since they both came into the league. But when I say consistent, I mean, he's just been there and has played games. He's just so like hit or miss and never really know what he's going to get from him. And he's not a wide receiver one. So hopefully with Neighbors around now, that should open up Wan'Dale, Darius Slayton, and then also Jalen Hyatt in his second year. Didn't really do much or even impress me at all last season. But again, the Giants haven't hit on many of their third round picks over the last, number of years. That's a story for another day. But the main third cause of concern after the quarterbacks and the cornerbacks is where are we going to get playmakers from on the offensive side of the ball? Who will step up? Because I think last year the Giants probably averaged between 12 and 14 points a game. So, and that was with, an okay Saquon. Where is that going to come from now? I don't know. And then one additional bonus, because I gave it last year, I'll give the offensive line bonus again. Hear me out on this. There's no way at all that they will be worse than what they were last year. It's just kind of like one of those things that's just impossible. It was so bad that there's no way that it could happen again. Because if it did, then Shane would be ran out of town. So with that, let me know what you guys think. What are your causes for concern heading into this 2024 season? I know we're going to have a little bit more tempered expectations because Dable's first year, they got to the playoffs and got killed by the Eagles. And then last year, we were just horrific throughout pretty much, besides like random glimpses here and there. And they still won a couple of games. So it does go to show you, like, you can win games in the NFL. Like, look at the Jets last year. They won 7 games with like Zach Wilson. So if you could have a good defense and just have a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over and like Daniel Jones has done, you can win games. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, please be sure to subscribe because we have a ton more content dropping this week for the first week of the NFL season. And thank you guys for watching. Have a great Labor Day.